time to roll into the next character. Woo, that's a cat. That's Voltron. She enjoys interrupting my art sessions, only when I'm recording. She loves the camera. Anywho, welcome back, Adventurers and Illustrators. I am your host, Betimus, and I am on week 2 for Inktober. Yay! Just as a little note, I'm counting my weeks by every 7 days from the 1st. My weeks are from Tuesday to Monday. Yay. Anywho, today I am drawing my Dragonborn Forge Cleric, Kava Bright Scales. She is a silver Dragonborn. And for this week's set of words, I saw the words dragon and snow. In my head, I automatically thought of Kava. So, Kava was created after Tetra's campaign fell through. A different dungeon master, that is my brother, he offered to start up a campaign, and he wanted it set in a sort of steampunk world, one of his own making. So we got weapons like pistols and rifles going on, which it's been pretty fun. We've already survived a train wreck, we found the people responsible for it, and we have also swindled an ancient rock for research, of course. For research. We're only 2 missions in. I created Kava as a Forge Cleric because I still wanted to play a Cleric class. But since it's going to be very steampunky, I thought it would be fun if this character wanted to create her own mechanical wings so that she can fly in the sky like her ancestors once did. So this is kind of like my drawing of what she thinks, or what I think her mechanical wings would look like on her back. She doesn't have them yet in campaign, but she carries around this journal that she takes a lot of notes in and does a lot of little drawings of the world around her. She's taking note of the technology, and she's kind of like trying to create these wings on her own time. Because Kava was mainly sent to the mainland from her island to take note and figure out the technology that's happening and going on in the mainland. She's supposed to bring back that knowledge to her people so they can catch up technology-wise. Again, I wanted to draw a character in action just because compositionally wise, I always think those are a lot more fun to not only look at, but to draw. There's always a challenge to drawing action scenes, to me at least. And I learned a lot more by challenging myself. In this case, I was kind of playing around with light. The light being that ice blast that's shooting from her mouth. You can see that I'm using this light blue pin that only seems to work really well above the light blue color pencil I had used underneath. Otherwise, it's super, super light that you won't be able to see it. Now, there are things that in the end I wish I didn't do, but doesn't mean I don't like the illustration. It's just something to learn from for next time. And I do like the general idea or effect that using 2 colored pins for line art created. Now, brother, I am sorry if I forgot how to pronounce this, but Kava's deity is Lumion Horus, if I remember correctly, because it has been a while. He is basically the god of creation in this world. His symbol is sort of like this little gear with another little like gear, like a gear above a gear. And I'm kind of using that as like that tassel or that emblem around her belt right there. If you see it, there's a tassel, there's the gear, there's that little round bubble that I couldn't get the pin to draw small enough to create another tiny gear, so I'm kind of, for me it's a bead. It's a bead under a gear with a tassel. There you go. I'm not exactly happy how the neck came out initially, so later on you'll see me covering it up with white paint and redrawing it. There's the tassel gear thingy. For a long time now, I've been wanting to play a Dragonborn character. However, it never felt like the right time to play one. Not that I get to play very frequently, it's just that other kinds of characters pop into my head whenever we're playing a different kind of campaign or even a one-shot. But a Dragonborn seemed just right for this campaign. One of my favorite things from a silver dragon design-wise is the frill that goes along its spine. And right from the get-go, I knew I wanted Kava to have that frill. However, being Dragonborn and like the necessity to wear armor, I had to end that frill like right at the base of the neck. And I can't say I've seen an illustration from the official handbooks or any sort of official Dungeons and Dragons artwork where I've seen Dragonborn have that frill that their full dragon counterparts have. But if you have, please let me know. Now I'm going to admit I've never actually drawn a gun. I've drawn sort of like fantasy guns for like robots and things like that, but as far as a gun goes, a rifle in this case, it was sort of my first time. And I did kind of, fantasied it up with that little dragon motif there. After doing all the blue, I kind of did a double take and noticed that there's some areas that should be dark. So I go back in there with a black pen, and the mixture of black and blue pen kind of create this really cool look. One of those regrets that I mentioned earlier was on the gun itself. Because I was so focused on drawing the gun and making it look like a gun, I ended up making the whole thing in black when I really wanted to have half of it or a part of it blue just so that it's also being lit up by that ice blast that's going on in the foreground. And I had almost forgotten the chain that comes from the ring on her horn. Ah yes, here's that cover-up part. So while it dries, I'm going to be thickening up some of the lines to add that line variant that I love so much. And Kava is just about done. Why don't you guys tell me about your Dragonborns? Whether it be you or a teammate, or maybe even an NPC you guys came across. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. And if you'd like to help support me over on Patreon, you can end up getting downloads of illustrations, gain access to behind the scenes, get your name in the credits, and a bunch of other cool stuff. I'll have a link in the description along with some other social medias you guys can follow me on. And until next time, adventurers, coffee lovers, and illustrators, stay cozy!